At this point, it seems that if you want success, you're gonna have to be the nastiest, the prettiest, the wettest, the kinkiest, mixing that cheesiest macaroni, or you simply got no chance. So I decided to start a new segment called If Wildness Was a Crime. And for the first installment in this segment, I decided to address an article about the popular social media platform Onlyfans. This article in question comes from the New York Times and it's appropriately titled Jobless, Selling Nudes Online, and Still Struggling. Now, I'm sure we know that in the wake of the pandemic, many industries would have been affected, primarily hospitality, education, healthcare, and retail. And what all these industries have in common is that by majority, they employ women. So the majority of jobs lost in the contraction are by women. And if there's anything that the current situation has taught us, and anything that this particular article has exhibited, is that when times get tough, women turn to sex work. So the article opens up with a story about a content creator who was able to make $64,000 between July of 2020 and now. And these are the types of stories that you hear about OnlyFans, all the success stories. Those are the veneer that you see going viral on social media. You hear about the girls that were able to buy their first home. They didn't have to worry about college anymore. Now, they could pay all the bills. Everything is great. They're helping out their family members, as the woman in the story did. She wasn't able to just cover her own expenses, but she was helping out family members and friends with rent and car payments and all that stuff. And when you think about it, you're struggling, you're desperate. You see, hey, all these people are making money in OnlyFans. Oh, that must be easy money. Let's go over there. And that's exactly what happened. We saw the creators increase from just over 120,000 to comfortably over 1 million in less than a year. And I believe it was maybe even within a quarter. But anyways, as we've heard so many times, all that glitters isn't gold, and what seemed to be prayers answered for many only turned into more problems created. And as the article continues, you see other creators they reference, one being an overweight lady who was only able to make a few $100s in that space of time. And now the problem she's created for herself is that she's worried that the photos online are going to affect her ability to get hired in the future. And that's a concern shared by many other creators on the platform. But perhaps the biggest problem created is that the influx of creators has caused the market essentially to crash. Now, because there's so many people there, the competition is so high that you can't really charge a premium for your content, especially if you're unknown. Because in the wake of the inflation, the persons that are having the most success are X-rated film stars, celebrities, and models, as well as Instagram models. I guess we can't put them in the same category, but you get the idea. And if you understand economics, you understand why this is occurring. Those who have platforms to drive people to their OnlyFans are naturally going to have an advantage. And then in the face of the new competition, the new creators and even the existing creators are going to have to find ways to differentiate themselves to preserve and also grow their audience. So maybe improving the quality of your content, finding some sort of new kinks or something, improving your marketing, making investment in equipment or even in your body, like you would see with Instagram models. That's a perfect example of something that eventually became saturated, and then to maintain the competition, you started to see women making all sorts of ridiculous modifications to keep eyes tuned on them. And in order to keep the eyes trained on them and maintain the attention, obviously they're going to have to produce more content to keep the audience engaged, interact with the audience in whatever way they see fit or most practical. And that obviously opens them up to a plethora of risks. These risks include things like getting doxxed, having their sensitive information released online against their will, or having the content ripped and put on sites like Reddit or Discord. That's obviously going to affect their income and put their nudes out on public for everybody to see. And on that specific topic, it actually leads me to one of the biggest takeaways from this entire situation. And it's that it has basically shown a lot of women how little their nudes are really worth. Now, when you think about the situation in its entirety, if everybody's busting it wide open online and you decide, okay, I'm gonna join the line, you just become another bust down in the line. Now, the fact that we've seen the number of fans, joining and men paying for the content proves Outkast right. We love these hoes. But clearly the love isn't enough for everybody to have a slice of the cake. And that's because OnlyFans is a subscription-based service. So you can't expect, guys that already have subscriptions to this creator and that creator to suddenly subscribe to the newer creators because, oh, okay, I'm an OnlyFans and I'm busting it wide open. As I said earlier, you're just one of over 1 million, right? So what we're going to continue to see is likely more and more join the platform until it gets to a critical point, and then it just drops off and the number of creators joining stagnates. We're going to see a lot of creators wash out because, as you would see in the article, one of the ladies mentioned that it was like a full-time job on top of a full-time job looking for new employment. And then obviously you run the risk, as mentioned earlier, of not getting employment because a lot of people don't want to hire persons that are known sex workers. So she also mentioned putting in 8 hours a day, posting, creating content, and also trying to market her platform. And after all that work, she only made about $250. So clearly the time and effort invested is not going to be worth it for most persons. So it doesn't seem to be a practical means for the vast majority of creators. How long they last? Well, we're going to see. Then another consideration is, in light of so many women making some exorbitant figures on the platform, I'm sure bodies like the IRS are licking their chops and ready to bust those income statements wide open and claim their cut. So for the creators on the top end of the pile, those who are killing it and making a lot of money, their day definitely is gonna come soon. I can't see this going on for too long without, the tax man getting involved. But after all this, what's most interesting, funny, ironic even, is that these women that decide to shift to OnlyFans and try to make a living or some kind of supplementary income there, all of that is being funded by men. What are your predictions for the OnlyFans apocalypse? Did you predict that it would reach saturation this fast? Do you know anyone that decided to hop on OnlyFans and bust it wide open? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content in the future. If you want to contribute to a future segment of If Wildness Was a Crime, be sure to let me know in the comments or send me an email. The link's down in the description. This is the Unspecialist saying, if wildness was a crime, there'd be a whole lot of women doing a whole lot of time.